Hey, what's up everyone? Jace Young here, and inside of today's video, we are going to cover terrible financial decisions that will sink the family farm. Let's get into it. What's up everyone? My name is Jace Young. I'm the founder of a company called Legacy Farmer, and inside of that company, what we do is we've helped over 300 family farms simplify and streamline the entire financial side of their operation and help them learn their numbers at a deep level so that they can implement the systems and the processes to make sure that their operation lives on for generations into the future. All right, my friends, so inside of today's video, we're gonna cover just some pretty sensitive topics here, but I think it's relevant, I think it's important. Actually, I know it's massively important to a lot of family farm operations across this country, because when you look at the number of financial decisions that farmers and ranchers and just ag business owners are making on an annual basis, it's in the hundreds, if not the thousands, right? We have a lot of different moving parts, some big operations, whether you're doing, $1 million a year in revenue, 5 million a year in revenue, there's just a lot of different moving parts.
Oh boy.
There's a lot at risk every single time that we do make a decision. And I've said this before on multiple podcasts and everything in the past, there are no small financial mistakes inside of the farm operation, right? There just isn't, right? One breakdown could easily be 15, 20 grand to take care of.
Thing is broken, I can't see anything.
So we have to make sure that we're making the right financial decisions, and the people that can do this the longest, well, those are the family farm operations that are going to survive from generation to generation. But inside of today's video, I'm going to be talking about some bad financial decisions that farmers make on a regular basis. And how do I know this? Well, we've worked with over 300 family farms across the country over the past 4 years. We've talked on the phone with over 1,000 family farm operations over the past 3 to 4 years. And from this, we know exactly what type of financial decisions are being made across the country and kind of what the habits and everything are. So let's start off with number one.
Lesson number one.
So let's jump into the terrible financial decisions that sink the family farm. Number one, buy it because the bank said you can. Now, I cannot tell you guys how many times and just kind of what the overall habits that farmers and ranchers have when they see a piece of ground or a piece of equipment or the option or opportunity that comes on to double their acres and take on more ground. A lot of them, the first initial thought is, well, let me go check with my banker.
It's checking out, Richard. I spoke with the banker.
Let me go check with the bank. Let me call the bank and see if this is even possible. And here is where you're going to get into massive problems, guys. And I saw this even in my own career as an ag banker for 6 years with farmers and ranchers. You confide inside of your loan officer in the bank. Now, your loan officer may not be a bad person. The problem is, though, is that they're not a business owner, right? They are there to make loans because that loan generates interest income for the bank, which makes the shareholders happy. So they're incentivized to loan you as much money as they possibly can within reason, right? And some people, I'm finding out, a lot of bankers across the country are lending without reason and are not being logical and are actually sinking a lot of family farms. So this goes back to the point now why it's a bad decision and a terrible decision to make a purchasing decision or a financial decision just because the bank said so. If you are doing it because of that, that tells me that you have no idea where you're at financially. Okay, guys, because what I'm learning again after working with all these farmers, and they come into Legacy Farmer, we help them streamline and simplify and organize their entire financial life. Okay, we go through and simplify the numbers at a detailed level so that our members have one single number that they can use to challenge every financial decision that they're making and make sure that they're making the right one that considers all the different factors. Now, based on the decisions that people have been making, what it tells me, if their bank is telling them yes that they can do this, what that tells me about your bank, they don't actually know where you're at financially either. They may have your balance sheet, they may see a big net worth, and they're making their decision based off of that. And if they are, you need to find a different bank. Because the problem is that we've seen this multiple times with multiple members. Their banks have sunk them because they've allowed them to make decisions. Now, at the end of the day, it's the business owner's decision, right? You signed the document, so at the end of the day, it's your fault, right? But do the banks help by telling you, yeah, go do that? Yeah, it's a good decision, you should take advantage of it. No, absolutely not. You are taking financial advice, massive financial advice, because we had a customer come into Legacy Farmer the other day looking at purchasing $3.5 million in real estate. They have no idea where they're at financially. Bank said they could, based on their net worth, based on the amount of equity, based on their ability to make a down payment, not with cash, with other equity, right? So just because the bank said they could, how's that financial decision going to fit into everything else inside of the operation? With your cash flow, with your team? Do you even have the foundations in place to be able to manage taking on that type of debt? Can you cash flow it? You can cash flow it in great price environments like we're currently in, but can you cash flow it in terrible ones, right? All these different considerations. Just because the bank says, yes, you can do this, does not mean you should. You should know way ahead of time. The thought shouldn't even be in your mind, hey, let me go check with my banker. That thought should never enter your mind. You should know your numbers at a detailed level to where you don't ever have to check with your banker.
Don't you forget that.
You already know whether or not the loan's going to be approved. And that's what we work on inside of Legacy Farmer. I train all of our members exactly what the bank is looking at and how they're making those purchasing decisions. That way our members know whenever these opportunities come up, they can come in, plug in their numbers into Farmer Metrics, which is our software, and they know way ahead of time what the bank is even going to say. And then on top of that, they know whether or not it's the right purchasing decision for them. Okay. Again, guys, you look at a lot of decisions. Some of you watching this, you probably looked at some of the decisions and things you've purchased in the past. You did it just because the bank said you could. And I get it. It's easy for the bank. The bank is not loaning you their money. They're loaning you the depositor's money or the government's money or things like that. They're not loaning you their tier 1 capital. Because if they were, you can guarantee they'd be a lot more careful with the loans that they're making, right? And they'd know your numbers a lot better. So this is why you have to be careful as a business owner. This is why you have to take responsibility as a business owner to get control of your numbers, get things organized, get things simplified so that you know way ahead of time what the bank is even going to say, right? And you're not counting on them to be able to make a purchasing decision. You already know what they're going to say. You already know what rate you should get. You already know how it's going to impact your cash flow over the remainder of the year. You already know how it fits into your long-term game plan. Okay, so this is extremely, extremely important. Number 2, moving into that, is...
Oh, man.
Hey everyone, we hope you liked today's episode of Farmer Principles. If today's message resonated with you, then I'd like to invite you to take a look at all the different ways Legacy Farmer can help your family farm operation get streamlined and organized, just like we have with over 300 family farms across the United States. Now, be sure to click the link in the description under this video, and be sure to also like and subscribe to this channel to get more content like what you watched today.